guys, welcome back to another Gimpys Gal Guesses. I've got a stack of games in front of me, and you know what? I feel like they have to all go together, but it's like 3 different games. This is going to be a long one, so grab a snack, a drink, you know, put the kids to bed, come back. This is going to be a little bit longer one, but hello. If you are a returning viewer, but you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. If you're a new viewer, I hope you will subscribe at the end because that helps us out tremendously. If you don't know what I do, stick around. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. But just to give you a brief synopsis of what I do in these, basically I unbox the game, kind of show you what all comes in the game, and then at the end I give my best guess as to how the game is played. With only what I've seen in the box. I don't read the rule books. I don't have any prior information or knowledge. I just kind of guess blindly based on what I see in the box. Really, it's just a fun way to show that these games are not like the easiest games to learn, and that no matter how many of these I do, I still am completely ignorant and oblivious. I am so sorry if you hear crunching in the background. Of course, our dog, this is when he wants to eat dinner, and where we have this set up is right by his dinner bowl. So hopefully he'll go on in a second, but I don't have time to wait for him to finish eating. So I apologize. Hopefully we can cut that down a little bit, but I'm just going to try to talk over it and work past it. But anyways, I'm going to jump into it. Please, if you are a returning viewer and you watch Gimpy's videos or mine on the regular, make sure you are subscribed. I know sometimes YouTube like unsubscribes, or I know that sometimes when I'm on YouTube, a channel that I thought I was subscribed to, I'll go find a video and see that I'm not subscribed. So just make sure you are subscribed. We've been dealing with a lot of personal things, but also a lot of stuff with the VA. And so with the economy the way it is for everyone, that helps. It helps tremendously, and it's free for you. So like, share, comment, and make sure you're subscribed, please. That helps us out greatly. I'm gonna jump into this. Again, this is 3 boxes, 3 games, but it looks like it's the same company. I don't know if these like go together. Obviously they're not in one box, so it's not one big game, but I don't know if it's like a series. I don't know. So let's just get into it. I'm gonna start with the one that's on top, which is called Donnerschlag, Escape from Stalingrad. This is by Vuca Simulations. Vuca or Vuca, again on the pronunciation. If you've been here before, you know that's not my cup of tea. But that's the name of the publisher of the game. It says a game by Patrick Gebhardt and Pepito Spazzagotti. It looks very Italian, but I'm sure I butchered it. But this is the front of it. Donnerschlag sounds very German, Russian, somewhere in that area. They're very, you know, those kind of words. You know what I mean. Here's the front of it. We have like a tank. This looks like a communist Russian, the Soviet symbol. If I just showed my stupidity by saying 3 things that I believe to be interchangeable, but they're utterly different, my apologies. But I don't know which one, so I don't want to commit to just one. So I'll just say multiple ones. That way, at least I have a greater chance of getting it right. But I see that in the background, so I think I was right that this is like a Soviet area game. So that's the front. The back looks like this. We have some counters, looks like an example of the map. So we have 1 rule book, 1 mounted map, 234 counters, 2 player A charts, 2 setup displays, 126 cards, and 2 6-sided dice. Game features, it says unit scale is battalions, regiments, and brigades. So I take that to mean that in the game when it says unit, that's what it means. It means your unit is either a battalion, regiment, or brigade. The time scale, 1 turn, is 2 to 3 days. I love telling this story because it does show my complete ignorance in this genre. But when I first started, I read a game that said 1 turn took it was like equivalent to 1 to 2 years or something. It was saying like this as a time scale, so it meant that 1 turn in the game was equal to 1 to 2 years in the game. I thought it meant that 1 turn would take 1 to 2 years in our time to complete a turn. I know better now, but that's just a funny story I like to tell over and over again. So if you've heard it before, I'm sorry, but it's funny. Map scale, 4 kilometers per hex. Playing time, 5 to 8 hours. Players, 2 players. It does not say that it's 1 to 2. It specifically says 2. But over here we have a game meter. It's 3 on the complexity, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm guessing out of 10. So 3 out of 10 on the complexity. So fairly not very complex. And then solitaire suitability is a 5. So right smack in the middle. It does give me a cheat sheet here at the bottom because it says what time frame this happens. And it says historical period, World War II, it says 1939 to 1945. And this says 1942 is kind of blocked out. I'm guessing that's where this takes place. Yeah, it says from 12 December to 23rd December in 1942, Unternehmen Winterweiter was in progress. This was the code name for a relief attack by another really long name, Dawn, to free the trapped 6th Army in Stalingrad. So I guess this is a historically accurate game. Let's open it before I butcher any more names from that area. So we have a rule book. We have the cards. I think it said 126. We have the game board, the 2 6-sided die, and the counters. There should be 2 player aid in here as well, I think. Right? I like to keep it like this so I can see what it says. So, yeah, 234 counters. That's a lot of counters. There is 1 mounted map, 2 player aid charts, 2 setup displays. So that sounds like there's 4 player aid. Yeah, here we go. There's the counters. Okay. This must be those player aid things. Okay. So I'll show you the dice really quick because they're dice. You've seen them before. 6-sided, 1 red, 1 black. Very German colors, even though I think this is Russian or Soviet. Yeah, so there's that. The cards, there's a combat deck, an activation deck, and then another combat deck. I'm guessing for each of the sides because the backgrounds look different. I don't want to like get this all messed up, so I'll just kind of peek. General event. Okay, so it has like a general event and then looks like something else on the bottom, a tactical event. So it looks like the combat cards have a general and tactical event on both on each card. And like I said, it looks like 1 for one side, 1 for the other. So those are the combat cards. And there is an activation deck. And it just says, like this one says, player may activate. And it says activation early. And it has like the name of like a ship or a division. It says Panzer Division with a couple X's on it. So that is the activation deck. So those are the cards. Then we have these mounted, they're very thick, I like that. Player aid. It says 2 player aid and 2 setup displays. So these must be the player aid, and then these are, yeah, this says player aid. So they look like they're the same. Yeah. So 1 for each player. So on that we have a combat results table, a zone of control, stacking, command range, command execution, sequence of play over here, combat modifiers, and a terrain effects chart. And again, there's 2 of those, 1 for each player. And then the back just says extended sequence of play. So a little more in depth on the sequence of play, 1 for each player. And then moving right along, I should have like a song. These must be the mounted like display thing, because there's like, I thought this was just telling you about the counters, but I think this is for you to put the counter on. So there is 1 for the Soviet setup and 1 for the Axis setup. So I was right when I said Soviet. I'm glad I said more than 1, because like I said, it upped my chances of getting it right. Yeah, so this is the setup display. So we have all the different counters, whatever those mean, reinforcements, and then cards and markers. So they both have the same, it's just kind of laid out a little different, and 1 for each side. There is nothing on the back of these, just to show you, but yeah. Again, they are really, really like thick cardboard. So I do like that. Here's the rule book. Looks pretty small, so I guess that complexity scale was right. It was a 3, so that sounds not so complex. That doesn't really mean anything though. That could mean easy to learn, horribly hard to win, horribly hard to master, horribly hard to figure out the nuances. But it says it's a 3, so don't, you know, let this be one that intimidates you, I guess. There are 17 pages in the rule book. It looks like this. And I don't see any like scenario, so I don't think there's scenarios in this. I think it's just like one game scenario, and you can play it and have different outcomes. This board looks huge. How big did it say it was? Just said one mountain map. Again, this is super thick, good material, so I like that because then I can't break it or rip it. So here it is. It's really long and narrow. I'm looking at it upside down, so I'm gonna turn it. Okay, we have, looks like places for cards to go up here. We have a Donnerschlag Advance. We have meeting zone A, B, and C. Like I said, these are look like areas for the card. Here's the map. We do have a turn track here. And then, yeah, it's just the map. And then there's nothing else on it of significance other than, you know, the hexes and the maps and stuff. So, and I'm guessing A, B, C goes with A, B, C. And then, like I said, there's card placement for each of the two sides. So one for Axis, one for Soviet. So yeah, so that's the game board. And then last we have the counters. I'm going quickly because there's two other ones I gotta open. I'll just hold them up super quick. Counters are counters to me at this point. They have numbers and meaningless symbols on them, so they mean nothing to me. But you are free to pause the video and screenshot it. But Gimpy goes into this more in depth whenever he actually plays through a game. So you'll get a better look at it then. This is just like a brief sneak peek at it before he gets it on the table. And here's the second sheet. So it said there's 234 counters, but there's only 2 sheets. I always am deceived because I feel like there can't be that many on just 2, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 columns, so 13 times 9. So 100 and whatever. So yeah, 117, I think. So yeah, yep, that would equal 234 if you add that together, right? One ones. Yep, 234. I was right. So each of these has 117. So yeah, I can do math fairly quickly. So, excuse me. That's the first one, which is Donnerschlag, Escape from Stalingrad. Again, it's a World War II game, takes place in 1942 in the Soviet area. Sounds so stupid. In Stalingrad. And you can play as the Axis or the Soviets, and you try to win. So that's game 1. Excuse me. Now I'm gonna move on to this one. These are all by Vuca games, by the way. This is Crossing the Line. I don't know if he wanted me to do these all in one video. So I'm just gonna do them all in one because he had them stacked up together. Normally, if he wants me to do them in separate videos, he'll have them like separated out, but they were stacked on top of each other. So I'm going into this assuming they were all meant to be filmed as one. Crossing the Line, 1944. This says second edition, excuse me. So here's the front of the box. And then on the back we have Crossing the Line. Unit scale is battalion. Time scale, 1 turn equals 2 to 8 days. Map scale is 3/4 of a mile per hex. Scenarios, there are 4, including a campaign. And it's 30 minutes to 10 hours. That is a huge range for playing time. And it is for 2 players or for solitaire play. So this one can be played either, so could the other one, even though the other one said specifically 2 player. This one says 1 to 2 player, or it says 2 player or solitaire. Now the game meter, the complexity on this one is a 6 out of 10. So it's a little higher on the scale for complexity, and then the solitaire suitability is also significantly higher at an 8. So this one looks like it is a little more complex, but it's also a little more solitaire friendly. Contents, we have a rule book, a mounted map, 448 extra large counters, that's impressive, 4 double-sided player aids. I like that it says double-sided because sometimes I see player aid and I just assume that it's the front. I don't think I've ever missed like looking at a player aid or showing it and not flipped it over and like missed showing you a side. I think I always look and check, but it's nice to know for certain that it is double-sided, so I like that. 2 double-sided setup and reinforcements and withdrawals display, 1 solitaire play track sheet, and 2 10-sided die. And then this one is, designer is D. Belenenman, developer and art director is P. Gebhardt, graphic artist P. Bazarke, and rules editor is J. Brunken. I probably butchered a lot of those, but there you go. So there's the back, and then the front I already showed you. So let's open this one up. Again, I assumed he wanted these to be done as one video. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Forgive me, but he did not clarify. Okay. Something saw me, he wanted these as 3, but he put them all stacked together instead of separate. But it's too late, I've already started. Yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna go with it. All right, so here's the die, red and black again, 10-sided. Nothing crazy there, we've seen dice before. And then we have the rule book, which looks pretty close to the other rule book, although it is made by the same company. It's Vuca Simulations. So this one is a, how many pages are you, book? Are you not gonna tell me? Does it say on the thing? No, it just said 1 rule book. I don't know, 42. Yeah, 42-page rule book, which looks like this. I hope I've been in frame this time too, because I was sitting a little far back. I guess I should scoot up to make sure I'm in frame. Although it's so deceiving that it's a phone that we use for the overhead filming, because these phones nowadays film better than some cameras. But the lens looks like it's like, you know, this. So I think I'm not in frame, but it's such a huge frame that it captures that I'm sure I'm fine, but it's just very deceiving. So the counters is a lot. It said what did it say? 448 extra large counters. These don't look extra large to me. They look the same size as the other one. So unless there's other ones that I'm missing, yeah, those look the same size. So I don't know what they're talking about, but there's that. Here's the player aid and then the map. So yeah, we'll look at, I'll do the counters really quick because like I said, I don't like to go through these one by one anymore because if you've seen one, you've seen them all. That's my opinion. Don't come for me. I know it's not true. I know all the counters are different and have different meaning, and you could play 10 more games and every counter would be different. I get that, but for me, it all starts to blur together and look the same. Much that clothes or makeup looks the same for a guy that knows nothing about it. If he walks into Sephora or Ulta, he's just gonna see a lot of the same thing in different brands. So understand in that perspective that I'm not trying to be like a smart ass or anything. I'm just being real that these all kind of start to blur together after you've done about 50 guesses. A counter is a counter is a counter is a counter. So these are the counters. I don't know why it said extra large. I mean, maybe they're a little bigger. Maybe they just, I don't know. Maybe these are extra large. I have seen some super teeny tiny counters before. So if we're measuring them next to the super teeny tiny ones, then these are extra large. But measuring them next to what I would consider an average counter, those look average to me, but what do I know, right? All right, player A, you have 4 double-sided player A, and then 2 double-sided setup and reinforcement and withdrawal displays. So I feel like I must be missing something because I only have 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So 4 and then 2 equals 6. And I only have 2. Oh wait, is that what this is? No, that's for that game. Were one of these not counters? No, those are all counters. Counter sheet, the rule book. This is the map. Nothing in there. Okay, we're just gonna go for it. Maybe the 2 double-sided are part of the 4 double-sided player aid. We're just gonna go with that. All right, this is the operations chart A, and it has a combat sequence, terrain effects chart, movement, whatever ZOC is, and then combat. We know it's double-sided, so I'm gonna flip. And it's a sequence of play, action points, action point costs, and combat unit and HQ unit. Look like it's breaking down what the counters are telling you. So there's one of the player aid. And then we have a combat results table and DRM. This is operations chart B. We have terrain type. Terrain type. And then some on a red results, stack must perform an effectiveness check. Don't know what that means. But then at the bottom you have attacker, defender, and combat DRMs. Means nothing to me, but everything if you're playing the game. So there's that. And then we flip it and we have interdiction, German unit reorganization, German strength point loss VP, HQ recovery, US replacement points, and victory points. So we have VIT. And then we have scenarios 1 and 3. So this is the setup display because it says scenario 1 and 3 board setup. Scenario 1 is here, 3 is here. So you know what counters you need. And then on the back we have a reinforcement and withdrawal chart, I guess. So I don't know what that means, but there's that on the back. And then campaigns in scenario 2. So yeah, this is another setup display. You have American forces, German forces. And then on the back, we have reinforcement withdrawals again. Again, don't know what that means, but there you go. And then last, we have this, which looks like another tracker. There's nothing on the back of it, but it just says 1 solitaire play track sheet. This must be for the solitaire, I'm guessing, because it says one of those. So I guess that's what this is. You have a game turn, an interdiction, initiative DRM, action points. So this must be for the solitaire play, I'm guessing, because there's only one of these, and it did say there's one, but my count was off because it said 4 double-sided player aids, 2 double-sided setup and reinforcement. So I think it should have said like there are 4 player aids total. 2 of those are a setup display thing, if that makes sense. But what do I know? Again, what do I know? That should be a shirt that I have, merch that says, what do I know? Nothing. And the map is much the same as far as like it's very narrow and long, but it's very different. So we have a game turn track here along right here, American forces and German forces, and then the map. I don't see any other areas for cards or anything like that, but yeah, there is the map. I don't think the whole thing will be in frame, so I'm kind of sliding it around for you to see it all. But yeah, that's the map, and that's everything that was in this game. So that's crossing the line. I know it takes place in 1944, and it's between Americans and Germans because it tells me that on a lot of the player aid thingies in here. And I guess it's in Germany because that's where the map was, I think. Let me see. Hergenrath, Lotzenwall. Let me see if I see anything that gives me, I guess, yeah, it's got to be whatever that name is, Aachen. I don't know where that is, but that's where it takes place. So there's that game. And again, I really think these were meant to be all in one, but if I am wrong, Gimpy's going to be so mad. But just to defend myself, normally if games are meant to be guessed separately from each other, they'll be in separate piles and not all together like they were. Like you saw, they were stacked on top of each other. So I just put these in upside down. So what else was I supposed to pick? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Say you know what I mean in the comments. Like if I did this wrong, tell Gimpy that you understand why I did this wrong and that you forgive me. and that you want me back on the channel because I don't want to be fired from this cushy job just because I made a simple mistake. So that's the second one that was crossing the line. Aachen or Rockin', I can't tell, 1944. Now, last but not least by Vuca Simulations, we have Operation Thesis. So this is outside of the box. I guess it just doesn't fit, so it came separate, but it is a player aid. I'm just gonna set that to the side for now. Here's the box. It looks very similar to the one we just did, Crossing the Line. It says Gazala 1942. Again, like I said, it's a Vuca Simulations game. The back says that Operation Thesis says the situation after the Commonwealth offensive, Operation Crusader, the Axis overran Cyrenaica for a second time and prepared for the capture of Tobruk. Excuse me. If successful, the Axis might have the opportunity to drive Egypt, perhaps crossing the River Nile and reaching Cairo. To prevent this, the British 8th Army established a defensive line consisting of immense minefields and fortified positions of some 43 miles in length. Blech! That's what that means. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not a history buff. I'm not a war buff. Like, so boring to me. It's very important. I appreciate its importance. I appreciate people who are passionate about it. I do. But for me, it's really hard for me to get interested in it. But I understand the importance. So I really, really, really try. Like, I've tried to learn things and pick up on things and be interested in it because I appreciate now more than ever how important history is. But I still just can't get into it, so forgive me. So it says we have a rule book, a mounted map, 383 large counters. So the first one just said counters. The second box said extra large counters. And this one says large counters. I have a feeling if we held them all side by side, they'd be the same. But we'll see. 4 double-sided player aids, 1 double-sided setup display, 1 solitaire play track sheet, and 2 10-sided dice. It says unit scale, infantry brigades, regiments, and tank battalions and regiments. Time scale is 1 to 6 days. Map scale is 2.2 miles per hex. There are 3 scenarios, including a campaign. Playing time is 60 minutes to 10 hours. Again, that is a very large range of how long this could take you. I guess it depends on how bad you suck at it. Like, if you're horrible, then you get killed off in the first, few minutes, then it's going to be a really quick game. But if you can really fight and you know how to battle and make this be drawn out, then I guess it could last up to 10 hours. And it says 2 players or solitaire play. It's a 7 on the complexity and an 8 for solitaire suitability. So this one's the same on the solitaire, but a step up on the complexity. And then again, we have this nifty little historical period. It tells me exactly what I need to know, which is when, or one of the things I need to know for my guess, which is when. And it's 1942 again. So yeah, and this one is by D. Blendenminigan, P. Gebhardt, P. Bazarkay, and P. Gebhardt. So it's same people that did these, but it's the same publisher, like I said, Vuca Simulations, so that makes sense. So we're gonna open up the box. Makes it hard with the sticker back here. Okay. Excuse me. I don't do the box flip anymore because I made that mistake on a few guesses back, but this one didn't have too much in it, so I felt confident to do the box flip. All right, so we have 2 10-sided die. Again, a red and a black. If you've seen one, you have seen them all. It's a 10-sided dice. All right, this is a player aid. Is it just one? It's very thick. So I wanted to see if it is just one or if it's multiple. Oh, it's 2. All right, so I'm just gonna take this out. So this is player aid A and player aid B. How many player aids did it say? 4 double-sided. So it is double-sided. So it looks like it's just, what you need. Like the sequence of play is on this one, on player aid B. We have sequence of play. We have AP costs, action points, which I think that's what AP stands for, is action points. Stacking limits, enemy minefield check, and then minefield breach. So there's that on player aid B. And in the back we have like effects of different counters and different things, and then command and supply also. So that's one of the player aids. It's player aid B. The player aid A says combat results table and terrain effects chart on the front. And then on the back of player aid A, we have, again, a combat sequence here. And then we have retreat before combat DRMs. I'm not going to read it all because it's just going to start to sound very blah, but combat DRM, armor superiority case chart, other charts that you need to play. So those are two of the player aids. They were out of the box. I think they're bigger than the box, or they barely fit maybe. Or maybe they were supposed to be in the box, but they weren't. I don't know. Okay. This is the rule book. Again, it looks very similar because it's made by the same people. And it is 33 pages and looks like this. So there's the rule book. Then we have the map, which is there. Yep, I told you. These are the large counters, which look the same size as the other ones. But there are 383 of these large counters. I'm so confused on why one said counters, one said extra large, and one said large. All the same company, all the same size counters. I'm confused. Am I missing something here? Is it something on, is it like the font type? Is it like, what is it? I don't know. I'm confused. But here's sheet 1, front, sheet 1 back, sheet 2 front and back, sheet 3 front and back. Could have some music playing during this. Front and back and front and back and counters and counters and counters galore. And some are large and others are small, but they're all exactly the same. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed my impromptu song there. It's embarrassing. Cut that out, please. All right. Another player aid. This looks the same as this other one, though. Yeah, like, look at that. It's the same. Look at that. It's the same. Okay, maybe they modified something. Something was wrong, and they changed it because this looks exactly the same. Have the combat results table and the terrain effects chart. And then if we flip it over, we have the same on the back. So nothing looks any different. So I don't know why there's 2 sets of these, but it looks like there is. And then B, yeah. I don't know why there's 2 of those. It's weird. They're the same exactly that I already showed you. And then 2 more player aid before the maps. We have scenarios 2 and 3 boards set up, axis, force, and markers. Scenario 1 setup is over here on this side. And then scenario 2 and 3 setup is here. And then the back is scenario 2 and 3 board setup, allied forces and markers. So this is for if you're playing as the Axis, and this is if you're playing as the Allied, and it tells you how to set up for the 2nd and 3rd scenarios. And then the last one is this here, which looks, it's just one-sided, probably the solitaire, solitaire play track sheet is what I guess this is. So you have game turn track, formation assignment boxes, initiative DRM track, DRM and victory points track, AP track, yeah, and nothing on the back. So those are all the player aid. Again, there was 2 of the same exact, so unless it was a mistake and there should only be 2 of those, or it says 4 double-sided player aids, so yeah, I guess there's supposed to be 4, but isn't it only for 1 to 2 players? Yeah, so I don't know. Again, what am I missing? Tell me in the comments. Here's the game board. Ooh, the right way this time. So we have a victory points track at the top here, a DRM track. I don't know what DRM means. What does DRM mean? Oh, I want to figure it out so bad, but I don't know. I don't know. All right, so there's a track for that. Then we have Commonwealth forces, Commonwealth stacking limits, formation activation and reaction track, and then an action points track on this side of it, and then a formation assignment boxes on this side of the map. And Then we have the map, very brown and desert looking. And then the bottom of the map is this. I just folded it up so you can see it a little more clear, but it looks like this. We have axis forces, stacking limits, formation assignment boxes, air units, holding boxes, formation, activation, and reaction track, and action points track. So it's the same, but it's for, that was for the Commonwealth, this is for the Axis. And those are the two sides in 1942 in Gazala. Man, this one made it easy for me to guess because it just told me everything I needed to know. So there was the map. Yeah, so I guess these three could be together because they're similar. They're different locations, obviously, but it looks like maybe the way that the games are played is very similar. They're just different locations and people, but everything else is the same, is my guess. That's why they were all together. And they're all made by the same person or same company and everything. So, yeah. So that was Operation Thesis, Gazala, 1942. And I gave you my guess because it told me. So that was 3. You got 3 and 1 out of me. And again, please, if this was meant to be 3 separate individual videos, I apologize, Gimpy, but the way you had them stacked up made me believe it was 1. And I would hope that the viewers would back me up on that and tell him to forgive me if I was wrong. If I wasn't wrong, then I definitely knew that it was meant to be 1 video. Duh. But yeah, that's my guesses of these Vuca simulations games that arrived. I hope you guys liked it. I feel like it was long and short all at the same time, but yeah, I mean, like I said, they are made by the same company and the same people were involved in their making, so a lot of the components are the same. So, well, not the same, but similar. Like they have the same type of player aid and same type of counters and same type of setup for the games. So that makes it go a little quicker because it's like I don't have to go through everything like I'm seeing it for the first time. It's like, oh yeah, I saw this similar in the box before. It's just a different part of the war. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I am gonna hop off and go get kiddos ready for bed. And I'm gonna take a break because it's my birthday in a couple days. Yay for me. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And like I said, if you're not subscribed, especially if you've been here for a while, please, please, please subscribe. Please give it a thumbs up, comment below, and I hope that you'll come back and watch some more of my videos or go check out some more of Gimpy's on his channel. But thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! I really hope I didn't mess up by doing them all together. But like you literally had them stacked like this, what else am I supposed to think? Like, if they were supposed to be 3 separate videos, then they should have been like this. 1, 2, 3. But they weren't. They were like this, which is 1. So I hope that I was right and not wrong. And if I was wrong, I'm sorry.